Yeah. Sure has.
Yo, people! Good evening. It is the D.B.A.B. Podcast with your boy Kirton, Clete, and Jack. We are here to bring you another fantastic episode, bringing the energy, bringing the hopefully. But excited to talk, excited to be here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you can always find our lovely podcast on Twitter, aka X, where we post once a week, once every time we're done with the show. Which I've been meaning to maybe get more onto that and start doing more of the poll stuff. I meant to do that during March Madness. Like, who do you think is going to win it? And put a poll and all that stuff. But I'm sure one or two people would have answered it, so it would have been great. And of course, we can always find our podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere else podcasts can be found. Go tune in. Listen to your boys. We're also on YouTube, so you can see all of our beautiful faces except mine, right?
I
so
started
not only do I have
popping the ball back and
voice
forth with my dad at 6.
Well, not only do not have a face for radio, a voice for radio, I do not have a face for radio. So it's gonna be great. Tune in to YouTube, check us out. You won't be disappointed. All that good stuff. But fellas, as always, it is a privilege to have you on the show tonight. Got a lot of good things to talk about, catch up on, if you will. Since the last time that we all got together, we've talked about the conclusion of March Madness, kind of give our thoughts there. We can dive into MLB a little bit to look at our surprises so far early in the season, disappointments. And then, of course, today was the granddaddy of them all in the world of golf with the
Shout out
Masters.
Scotty.
Kind of get, we can get our recap. Congratulations to Scotty. Get our recap thoughts of the Masters, and all that good stuff. But fellas, before we get into that, how are we doing today? Jack, how are we doing, my man?
Gucci gravy, baby. Not much we can say besides that. Just
can't hear him. No audio.
You kidding me, Clark?
Can't hear Jack?
I can't hear Jack at all.
Wow. You can
This
hear me,
is awesome.
though, right?
Way to kill the vibe,
so.
Clete. You can't
You
hear me?
though?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is great, huh? Great podcasting right here.
Cut it off. Start
Great
over.
podcasting.
Cut it
right
off.
Here.
Start over. Or you can hear me. I don't know. But can you hear
I
me,
can
Josh?
Hear Jack. I can hear you, Jack.
Weird.
So Cletus cannot hear Jack. So we'll make this the
Why?
fun game of the show tonight. Is we're gonna figure out when this moment is going to occur when Jack and Cletus can hear each other. So
Can he hear me? I'm guessing no.
I can hear Clete.
You can hear me. I can't hear you. That's weird. I can hear Josh.
Yeah. So again,
What
we're gonna
the
figure this
crap?
out live as the show is going. So ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Get your popcorn ready. This could be good, or I don't know. I don't even know how it's going to be. But, gentlemen, as always, it's great to be here. Cletus, if you need help, I will sign language what Jack says to me about what's going on with him. Even though I don't know.
That is awesome.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
You think you would have said, "Hey, can everyone hear each other?"
Well, I did say what's up to Cletus earlier, but he didn't hear me. So obviously something's on his end because mine's
like that for me.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be totally honest. I was oblivious to it all. You know what I mean? Just kind of going through it. And it's like we've never done mic checks or anything like that before we get going. Usually we're just all kind of just talking and then everything's all good. And the next thing you know, boom, we're into recording. So
all right. So that's okay. So I just put my mic in, so that may help a little bit.
Okay, Jack, go ahead.
Cletus.
Nope.
This
is awesome.
Anyway,
I love it.
I
love it.
So anyway, I got a cool stat before we move on. A bunch of stuff. Let's talk about March Madness a little bit, Josh.
What anyone needs right here.
Yeah, hold on, please.
Mute him so we can talk, and then when he gets it figured out, he can join the show. But at this moment, or put him in the back room where he just sees his face. And
all right, so that gives me that.
Just mute him for now.
So, sorry, Cletus.
Anyway, I saw some cool stats. Josh. That that if you of all people, I thought you would send to us before I would reach out and hear them. Does that make sense? So like,
Right.
Back to back, numbers don't never lie, but they always seem to repeat themselves. Well, we just saw an interesting thing. We saw UConn become repeat champions, right? Went back to back. Guess what their record was? Guess their record was the same record as Florida's back to back, but Florida had the same exact 7 that got them the first championship. Compared to UConn, they didn't have the same exact pieces, but they were the exact 68 and 11. Both teams.
Like over the course of the
2 years
combined.
Their 2 span, they had the same 6.
Just right now. Lead us.
Oh yeah, I got him now.
You got Jack now?
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Let's go.
You big grizzly bear looking son of a gun, you.
Yeah, you little sexy devil, you. But anyway, so like Jack was saying, so like the similarities between the last team to go repeat, the Florida Gators, which was I think 07, 08, right? And then of course recently UConn, he said they had the exact identical records in terms of overall records. The only difference was that Florida had the same cast for their repeat, while UConn did not have the same cast. They've had some of the same pieces, but some of those pieces weren't main contributors last year. Like the big dude, was it Klingon or
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously he was there last year, wasn't the dude. He was kind of a bit part player coming off the bench. This year he steps up to take the mantle, and they dominate. Another thing too is they're, the last 2 years, just how dominant they've been in the tournament. And then this year, just their point differential was I think they set the record for point differential in the tournament. So
yes,
hats off to those guys, you know what I mean? And to their head coach, Hewley. I think it's Hewley.
Dan Hewley. Right? Dan Hewley.
Yep. Comes from a great basketball family. They talked about it a lot in the broadcast. Dad's successful coach, brother's a successful coach. He's a successful coach. When he inherited UConn, they were kind of not in a good spot.
They weren't like terrible because Ollie just won a national championship with him 2 years prior to him getting fired.
No, yeah, they weren't like dumpster dive.
No, stop it. It's not like he got garbage when he got it.
No, but
plus he's a blue blood. It's a blue blood, dude. You can't. You're not going to change my mind. You're not changing my mind. He got a good program, a good situation, and he made it successful. Like bottom line, I mean, Kevin Ollie just won a national championship 2 or 3 years before Dan Hewley got. Dan gets players and wins back-to-back national championships. It's not like it was a dumpster fire or burning by any means. It's like right now Kentucky and Arkansas. This changed with Calipari going from Kentucky to Arkansas. Well, kind of Arkansas doesn't have any players. Arkansas has never won a national championship. Arkansas has not been in the hunt for a national championship. That's kind of like if Calipari gets them to the promised land, that's a good turnaround. But Dan Hewley's a great coach. What he's doing in UConn, unheard of. Great thing, but it wasn't like he landed on trash. Like you're like North Carolina. North Carolina is not landing on trash when you get that job. Duke, when Coach K retired, it's not landing on trash. They're landing on a Maserati doesn't have all their gears yet, is what it is, in my opinion. Because it's a blue blood. They've won national championships after national championships. They've been a blue blood since in our generation.
Okay.
Am I lying? Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong on this.
Well, okay. Oh, let me ask you this. So you are bringing up the point that from their head coach Ollie to Hewley, right? There wasn't a long stretch of them being not good, being dominant, right? So how, before they won last year, when was the last time they won a national championship?
Who, UConn?
12, 13.
I'm about to say it's been within the last 10 years, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 13, 14 they won. But what I was trying to refer to, right, was that I wasn't trying to say like, hey, they were a rotten team. It's not like they won and then just fell off the earth. I'm just saying that they won, had that great run with who was on that team? It was like a run that nobody really thought that they were going to make, right?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. They won the tournament. It was the second year at UConn. They won it, and then after that, they lost in the first round of the NIT. The year after that, they lost in the second round of the tournament. Which again, They made the tournament. They just didn't have the success of like what you would think. Then they didn't make the tournament. They got into some trouble. I think their program got into some trouble. Had some wins vacated. His first year, they were early. They didn't make the tournament. Second year, third year, they got lost in the first round. His fourth year, lost in the first round, and then they went back to back. But I remember one of those press conferences. I saw it during the tournament. One of the press conferences said like
it was when they lost to Villanova in the season in the Big East season. They lost to Villanova. They said get your shots now. That's the one you're talking about, correct?
They
lost to Villanova. Shots. They lost to Jay Wright. Shout out Jay Wright, great Big East coach. So Jay Wright retires and leaves Villanova.
UConn's running the show. UConn is when they won it, so he's gone back to back. So, not to say that they've been a dumpster fire. It's just they haven't been necessarily a contender since between, and of course that took him a little bit to get going. But now that he has those boys rolling, and he's adjusted too, based on what he wanted to do and stuff. So obviously you got to shout out to him as a coach. He's not one of those guys that's just, this is my way or the highway, and we're going to do it this way. And if it doesn't work, or we're going to continue to pound this drum, you know what I mean? He's gone out and made changes to, defensively, they're always going to be good. He went out and made changes offensively. So, kudos to him. That's what coaches got to do, you know what I mean, in order to be successful and keep successful. So I think that's one thing that's hurt Calipari at Connecticut, besides the mindset of I'm just going to bring these kids in here. Because I think one thing that hurt him after a while was that he was more concerned with selling the idea of, hey, look at all these guys I got to the NBA. Come here, spend a year here, and go to the NBA. You know what I mean? And then try to.
I'm going to disagree with you. Continue though.
But to me, that's what it felt like. He's had that pedigree when he was first at UConn. At Connecticut, they were a dominant program.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. When they were first at Kentucky, when he was first at Kentucky, they were dominant, right? Making Final Four runs. He won a national title with Anthony Davis. And then after that, it just got to a spell where, they struggled. And then, of course, the last 2 years, they've been bounced in the first round, being a higher seeded team. But they've never, I don't think he ever won an SEC championship. Like, I don't think he ever won the SEC conference. Like, I don't know if that was regular season and or in the tournament within maybe since 2004. I'm pretty sure he won it when he had John Wall and Anthony Davis and those cats running through. But since it just seems like he goes out and recruits well, he gets all these elite recruits, and those guys are being sold the idea like, hey, come to Kentucky for a year, play some ball, and then we're going to get you to the league. And then, but the production on the court hasn't met with the potential of those athletes, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, he gets these top kids, they're there for a year or two, and then they bounce to the NBA. There's no I can't think of the word. There's no connection. There's no built up of a program, because it feels like it's almost like a JUCO program where every year or every other year he's got to recruit a whole new team because they all go to the league or want to go to the league. If that makes sense. So,
how many Blue Bloods do that though?
Nowadays,
does Kansas do that? I mean, I'm asking. I mean, that's to me. We're just saying. Well, he does this. Well, I think I would probably safely say, and again, Jack, you watch more college basketball than I do.
Yeah,
I'm about to put holes in his plan.
90% of quote unquote blue blood programs get those one and done kids.
Yep.
If you're, let's face it, if you're good enough to play in the league, you have to play college basketball. It's a rule.
Yeah.
But okay, first off, before
you
before I poke holes in his Let's say this. What is the average age of the NBA teams right now? The youngest NBA team. The average age of the NBA team.
That's
and
Thunder,
it's the youngest
right?
team is the Thunder. Yes. Average. Okay.
23, 24?
Yeah, I would say it's 25, 26, right?
Okay.
The average age of teams that just won in the March Madness tournaments were?
Hell, I don't know.
Older
24, 23, 24, 25.
There are older teams, right?
Yes, yes, right. Okay. John Calipari, right? You say the one and done plan. Well, that's part of college basketball, the one and done. But now it's also become another thing that we always like to talk about is the transfer portal. Well, Calipari built, at the beginning of the year, Kentucky was picked top 25 in the year, 25 and top 25 or whatever, this and that. Well, teams that beat Kentucky this year are playing with 2-3 years into the program, 2 or 3 years into college basketball while he's playing with freshmen. He's played with freshmen throughout this whole thing. So we can sit here and knock him and tell him that he's not getting the crap done. Well, he's playing with freshmen. Freshmen are making freshman mistakes, and he's losing games with freshmen while people are playing with juniors, sophomores, transfer portal guys. And they're winning games over John Calipari's freshmen. So Jay Wright made a comment that it literally resonated with every college blue blood at the moment. The blue blood at the moment are playing freshmen. Josh's team that he hates most of all went to the Elite Eight and lost because they're playing with freshmen compared to people that are playing older veteran players. NC State, for example.
For the most part.
NC State played with veterans. Duke, their leading players were freshmen, correct?
Velocity or whatever his name was.
But he's not their. He's not their. He's not their. Like he's their big name guy because he's been there for a while. But their best player to me is that freshman, by the way, in my opinion. Their best player.
That lit it up in the second round.
Their best player is that freshman, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Kentucky keeps making freshman mistakes, and freshman mistakes pile up, and they can't get their mind back out of a freshman mistake, and they keep losing games because they're playing against people that make mistakes, but they can recover from the mistakes, and hence why they lose. So Calipari has a hell of a resume for what he's done at Kentucky. It's a matter of time until he got the buyout or they're telling him to get out the door. We're going to live in a generation now that I'm just going to get the next great transfer player and see if they fit into my mix program and then win some national championships. Like shout out Chris Beard. Some of those guys weren't recruited by him. They were recruited from the transfer portal that got him on that Final Four run. So transfer portal has helped a bunch of teams become relevant. Shout out Alabama. Shout out NC State. These teams that aren't nearly recruited, they're transfer portal recruits. So Kentucky wasn't doing the transfer portal like everybody else has been doing the transfer portal. Calipari has been recruiting freshmen and trying to win games with freshmen and not winning with the transfer portal. So we can knock him on that, but I'm not going to knock him because some of our favorite coaches in college football don't recruit from the transfer portal either. Which Josh, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway,
okay. So
that's all I'm saying.
No, and this is a fun little go back and forth here. And I apologize, Clete. Like obviously this is not your expert of arities or interest or whatever, but like
you're good.
So I agree. Like I smell what you're cooking, Jack, right? And it smells good at certain times, and then other times it doesn't smell good, right? Just like when I was saying stuff, you probably could have said the same thing, right? But my thing about Coach Cal, and again, I'm not saying that he's a terrible coach. I'm just saying that he before Kentucky, right, and when he had his great runs that got him there. When he had that great run, I think it was at Memphis before with Derrick Rose, and they had that success. And before that, when he was at
Marcus Camby, baby.
I think he was at St. John's or one of those other kind of smaller schools that he had success, and he's built his way up, and he got to Kentucky, and he had that initial success at Kentucky because he was the one that kind of pioneered the thought process. Now, there's always been the kids, especially when the rule came out from the NCAA that, hey, they couldn't go straight from high school basketball to the NBA. They had to go out, basically be out of high school for a year, basically what the rule says. There's been kids that don't go to college, they'll go play overseas for a year, and then they come back and try to get drafted. That's happened a couple times, right? But for most of those kids, they'll go to the college route because the competition's good, coaching is good, and then they can go to the league and stuff like that, whatnot. So, but he was kind of one of the first guys to kind of pioneer the one and done with the elite kids. You know, you go back and look at the John Walls, the Anthony Davis, and the twins, and then all the other guys, Eric Bledsoe, all those studs that he had. To me, part of it, the talent never kind of reached that certain level again the last 10 years or so. Like he's had elite kids, but for me, he's never really had elite kids like a John Wall or Bledsoe or I think Devin Booker was a Wildcat, right? Uh, and of course Davis and stuff like that. But he pioneered it, and then others followed. Like Coach K followed that same kind of recipe later on towards the end of his coaching career, because like when Duke won it and were the last few years of Coach K, they started to get into where the recruiting got better, but they were getting all these kids that were one and done or 2 years done, stuff like that. Uh, North Carolina wasn't, is not different. Same with some other big guys, whatnot. But he was the one that pioneered it. You know what I mean? So, and then of course the transfer portals made everything a little bit more. The playing field is a little bit more level now, because before those kids can go to Kentucky or Duke, and then if they weren't happy, they can now transfer and go to a school like NC State or Purdue or whatever the case may be. So now you can kind of shop and pick kids out that are going to better suit your program, that are experienced college players, compared to now depending on a freshman kid coming from the high school ranks, right? Um, but it just seemed that Cal always just stayed with that same momentum of just, I'm going to get these elite freshman kids. I'm going to coach them up as best I can, and we'll let the chips fall as they may. If we win a national title, great. If not, well, then I'm just going to recruit the next class of elite kids that come through. But it just never seemed like he wanted those kids to stay for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. If he would have had those kids stay for 2 to 3 years, maybe even keep them in college for 4 years, right? Like some of these other schools do, because they don't get to recruit the elite kids that are going to be one and done, right? Because in basketball, there's only 2 rounds of the draft. So there's not that many opportunities for these kids to declare and go get drafted. You know what I mean? Compared to the NFL and stuff like that. So some schools like a Purdue or NC State, the reason why some of these schools, in my opinion, now obviously you can throw in the portal and stuff, but they keep their kids longer because their kids aren't highly recruited coming out of high school, and they're developed over time within their program. So you see that end product, when they're juniors and seniors and they happen to go on a magical run in March Madness like NC State did, or Purdue, where you get Edey, who wasn't a big time. He was a good recruit coming out of high school, but he was a backup on his high school team to Armando Bacot from North Carolina, which I was surprised to hear that. But he was a backup, and then he stayed at Purdue, and he developed and he became the dominant player that he was over time. He wasn't a one and done type kid, where some of these other elite kids have that mindset where, all right, I'm just going to go to Kentucky. I'm going to do my thing. If we have success at Kentucky, great. If not, I'm going to worry about me, because at the end of the day, what am I trying to do? Get drafted because of who I go play for. You know what I mean? Because it does carry some weight from the school you come from, right? Because I'm sure a lot of NBA coaches have respect for Kentucky and what Coach Cal did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's crazy that since that one and done rule has changed, I think his winning percentage has dropped since the one and done thing. And I also think that he has changed his complete philosophy on coaching, because he recruits them, but they stick around a little bit longer than the one and done, because the whole one and done thing. Because right now they have the most one and dones, but they haven't had. I don't think they haven't had a one and done in a long time. I think the most one and dones it's like Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA, Texas, North Carolina. The list goes on and on. But it's transfer portal has changed the one and done thing. Yeah. And the age of the NBA has changed a lot of things. The Thunder, like it or not, have changed the face of the NBA, because since they got rid of Russell Wilson or Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, they haven't been the same. But now they're the number 1 seed playoffs. Would you
Yeah,
ever
look how
thought that
long-
in your lifetime? But they've had the
No.
number one draft pick for 6 years. They've been doing this for 6 years. They've been building this.
It's been a process, though. It's like
Yes.
the Sixers tried to do the same thing, but they failed. You know what I mean? Like, I remember their GM was like, "We're basically going to blow this thing up, and we're going to start from scratch." Because the Sixers tried to do the same thing. Remember, Jack?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
tried to do the same thing. They blew up the Sixers. They traded all these guys away, got all these picks, and then again, it also kind of comes down to it. Just like anytime you draft people, it's especially in the NBA when they call it a lottery, it literally is in terms of getting these kids. Are they going to develop into a star? You know what I mean? Like the Thunder have hit really well with Shai and Chet and some of these other younger pieces that have come into the league and developed and been good. Whereas teams like the Sixers that try to do that, they draft, what's the guy? They got one of the big dudes, I think Okafor from Duke, that didn't really pan out. They got some other draft picks. They just didn't pan out. You know what I mean? So sometimes it works like that. The Thunder, like you said, I'm not taking anything away from the Thunder. They've done a great job. They've built a thorough organization with young pieces that are going to be there for a while, whatnot. They've traded away dead weight. They've suffered through the rebuilding phase of what franchise is going through. But I agree. It's a different. We've talked about it before, especially Jack and I. Whatnot. But the transfer portal has definitely changed college athletics. Like I said, I feel like it's giving those smaller those Power 5 schools now. It's almost created almost equality throughout, the game because these kids that could go to Duke or Kentucky and maybe not get that playing time. You know what I mean? Now they can just hop in the portal and now end up at a place like Purdue or NC State or Arkansas or whatever. And next thing you know, they give them their opportunity and they turn into a star. Right? It happens all the time. It happens in college football. But no, it's just I don't think Cal's ever embraced the transfer portal. He's almost kind of like Nick Saban in a way, where he's almost like old school, doing his things his way, and then of course the portal comes, NIL comes, and it's just like, these guys. I don't know how invested they are in trying to compete with all that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All that kind of stuff.
It's a whole different dynamic, But overall, it was a great March Madness. Had some hell of games that we would never thought happened. Saw some great pieces, some great environments. I got the experience the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 once in a lifetime. It was some people go their whole. I'm not a blue blood Duke fan by any means, but some people go their whole life not get to witness Duke in person, and I got to watch them I got to watch them for 2 nights. I got to watch, big DJ Burns go off on people. It was good. Me and Hannah enjoyed it. I'm about to start selling blood so I could pay for my ticket to go to San Antonio to the Final Four because that's on a bucket list too of mine. But there's nothing like college basketball, especially for March Madness, because they shut down. The world shuts down, and it's a heck of a sight to see. One thing I do not like, and I love watching the venues. I like going to the venues and watching the games. One thing I do not like is having college basketball games in football arenas, especially ones that like the flow of things looks cool. Like Glendale's a good place to host it. The Big Toaster is a good place because there's always open seats everywhere. But imagine sitting at the very top, someone buying a ticket for the very top for $800, $900, or how much it was, and looking down and you just see a bunch of ants running around. I mean, you still get the same feel, but it's not the same. Basketball venues are completely different than football venues for that reason, because in that regard. So if you're going to do it, get a venue where it holds enough capacity, but you can still feel the same environment. Like the AAC in Dallas, great venue for basketball, great venue for hockey, great venue for concerts. Yes, but the venue itself is better than AT&T for anything.
Yeah, just to reiterate that, Jack. Obviously we had sent pictures to each other, especially the night of the final and stuff like that. Just some of the pictures of the seats was just terrible. But the one thing about AT&T, and I think other stadiums are starting to understand that how they make their stadiums is that they're making it to where, all right, if you're in the nosebleeds of AT&T Stadium, yeah, it's going to be very hard to watch the Cowboys play, 3 miles south of you. You know what I mean, down there.
Yeah.
But at least the big scoreboard helps.
But come on, man. But you didn't go to. I didn't go to the game to watch the scoreboard, man. Like
I know that, but we all three know that when you walk into AT&T Stadium and you're at a good level seat, right at the second level, whatever, and you happen to look up during the game and you look up all those nosebleeds, and what's the first thought? Man, those seats must suck.
Yes, agreed. I agree, and that's one thing. It's like that's one thing. Watching the game, I saw ticket sales, and I saw the venue, and I saw the display of the venue, and I was like, dang, those seats at the very top or the 400 section are going to be terrible to watch this game. Terrible.
Yeah.
Because, you've been at the AAC, and 300s aren't bad, but they're not great. But great overall. But if you're college basketball fans or basketball fans in general, this man down here at the dang mic. Anyway, college basketball is a great time of year. March to April, best time of year. And how about the flow of things? You had March hits it back right after spring break. We come back, we watch March Madness on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's 4 weeks of March Madness, and then we get out of March Madness mode and go straight to Masters, baby. How about Scotty Scheffler? How about the Red Raider coming in second?
Yeah.
Wreck 'em. And then and then on top of all that, you get the ends of hockey and basketball season. And you get hockey and basketball ending. So basketball's last game is tonight, and then they start the playoffs next week. Hockey's last game is Wednesday, Thursday, or something. Turn him, lowers that dude, man. Do something with him, man. I'm trying not to trying to keep people entertained here, but we can't when you hear Darth Vader going on in this piece. but anyway, the tail end of basketball and hockey coming around the corner, and this is the best time of April and May. You get to watch playoffs of hockey and basketball. That's the only really time I watch like basketball. Is like the tail end of it going in after March Madness. Go watch the end of the season for NBA, and then I watch stuff in that regard. But shout out to the Mavericks getting the 5 seed. It's going to be huge. They get to meet the Clippers. It's going to be a heck of a series to watch. Luka for MVP. Jokic is good. No, I'm not taking anything away from him. But the Mavericks not making the playoffs last year. Mavericks making the playoffs this year, leading the NBA in scoring. First time in Mavericks history. Give the MVP to Luka. What else can you say? Jokic he's won it twice, 3 times, or whatever. Won the NBA Finals. Give it to Luka. Let's go. NBA, make it happen. Another thing, I'm not going to speak it in existence, but I'm speaking in existence that bet that Josh has about the Yankees winning 80, 90 games. It's coming pretty close because they're at 12.
Get into it. I was talking about it in the office the other day. Obviously
he's grinning like a schoolboy. He's about to sit right here grinning. Look at him, man. He's about to wear the Yankee stuff every day we see him. He's grinning like a schoolboy, man. He's happy with the 12-4 Yanks right now. And Garrett Cole's about to come back.
It's just crazy what's happening here. I was talking about it in the office the other day. Just letting the other coaches know about the deal I made, all that kind of stuff. It's between Cletus and I. So, it's just crazy to understand that, I didn't think that they were going to be this good at the beginning. Now, it's really early in the season, but, we made that deal. Cletus, he was reading off the rankings and stuff. It was, I think he said 90.5. It's like 91. I was like, no way that they're just going to win it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see or whatever.
What are you doing, man? You about to bring out some bling bling in the back, dude? Come on, man. It's still a long way to go. And the Yankees always do 1 or 2 things. They start out fire, they start out terrible, then they get in a run again, and they go back to being relevant, and they go back to being terrible. The team that needs to get their crap together are the dang Dodgers.
I would say, like, I looked at standings of the day, and they haven't started off blistering, but they've not been terrible.
Or, you know who the MLB is a bunch of jerkbags. First off, having the Rangers and Astros play back to back, like how they're doing. I know they play a lot in the season. Them do it like that because they're doing it to get publicity first, to get the Rangers and Astros rivalry big, and also to get the Astros going. Because the only team that ever gets the Astros going are one or two people, and that's the Texas Rangers and the Yankees. Right? So the Astros and the Rangers have already played twice in less than 4 weeks of the season. Right? They've been to Texas already, and they've been to Houston, and now what? They play a midweek series against Mariners or somebody, and they meet again in a couple more weeks. Okay, MLB.
I don't like that at all.
That is your big money.
You want it spread out.
Yes, like they played opening weekend. They played the Cubs. Okay, cool. They played the opening weekend, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday against the Cubs, right? Or Sunday, whatever it was. Then they turn around and have them play the Astros. Then they have them turn around and play Tampa. Then they have them again go in. Then they go play the Astros again, like they just got done playing. They play a midweek series this week against Seattle or somebody. They play another week, and then they play another midweek with somebody, and then it's the Astros again. Like, okay, I get what you're doing because you like ticket sales in the beginning part of the year. But come on, you really want ticket sales? Have the Yankees come to town or have the Red Sox come to town in April and March and May, but not in August. Like the Yankees are supposed to come to Texas in August. I get why you do it in August because that's football, but you really want money in the front end. You put your big name stuff. But the Astros and Rangers are going to get tired of seeing each other because I'm already tired of seeing the Astros, and the Astros are about to get going. They're about to get back in first place with the win because the Rangers can't pitch worth crap. Man, they're hitting dingers on the Rangers today, man. Like the Rangers.
I think the Stros have just about every freaking pitcher on IR right now.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my two pieces about that. Back to MLB, early MLB thoughts. There's some studs and some duds. Overall, the only thing that's really running me hot is how early they have the Rangers and Astros playing, so back-to-back weeks. Right now I have it right now. They have Yankees and Baltimore first and second in the East. Cleveland Royals are Central. West, Rangers and Angels. East of NL is Braves and Phillies, which Phillies, when they get going, they're going to be pretty scary. The Central, they got Brewers in Pittsburgh. How about the Pirates, man? They got a young crew going. I think they're one of the youngest crews in the league right now. And then you have the Dodgers and Dodgers in Arizona in the West. So good things coming around at MLB and the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Padres are playing tonight. It's a 3-3 ball game, bottom of the sixth. Me and Hannah were talking about, venues because we've had the opportunity to see Petco and Dodger Stadium. And I would say, I told Hannah, I was like, these two teams right here are probably playing, like their stadiums are up there top notch. If you've ever seen San Diego's Petco Park, I recommend it. It's one of the coolest. Dodger Stadium backdrop, it's one of the oldest stadiums, but the backdrop alone of Dodger Stadium is awesome. So, but that alone gets you going. But what else we got before we move on to the bee's knees, man? The thing that's going to get me hyped up.
Again, talking about MLB, early thought, it's pretty, not really over the top. It's not like one team has been totally like out of left field. You know what I mean? Obviously for me, the Yankees have been like, I thought they might have been closer to 500 than what they've been. The Astros kind of starting as slow as they have, was kind of surprising to me. But, I don't think and Clete could probably attest to this, they're not at 100% right now.
Yeah, but I was talking to someone, my buddy, someone the other day. Said I want to see last year's roster and this year's roster and see how different the rosters are.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's not that much difference between last year's roster and this year's roster.
I feel like y'all's pitching rotation right now is way different than what it was last year. But you don't have Verlander right now, and so you got two
Freaking
other studs.
well, the two young ones from last year, they're not playing well. The
We had
kid
the
we
one dude
brought,
that threw the no hitter, but then I don't know
yeah,
what he's
but
done since then.
he wasn't there last year, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. But
And so, I mean, the the two the two young pitchers we had last year throwing that were winning all those dang games, they're struggling,
Wait.
and we spend, I don't know, what was it, like $10 million on a freaking bullpen in the first few games. We can't close out a 3-2 ball game.
yeah, but
You know what? The Yankee Astro series, there's probably what two of the three, or two of the four, or three of the four games were one run games.
yeah, I think the first
I
three
know the
games in
first,
that series, the Yankees came back and beat them. I think the first three.
yeah. So and we just couldn't close out, and so we'll, like I said, we'll see and reevaluate and go from there. But
Yeah. And
I
one thing
mean,
too, it's still early in baseball.
yeah.
They play 162 games. Right
Mhm.
now we can look back 3 months from now at this episode and be like, Kirton, you should have known the Yankees' downfall was coming. You know what I mean? They're going to get you. They're going to get you up, get you all excited, and then just come and just gut punch you, and whatnot. And it's like
But
that for other teams for the most part.
well, it's like we were talking about before too. The old saying in baseball: "You're going to win 50, lose 50." Is what you do with the other 50 that makes your season.
Right.
Max, well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, well said.
Always
Baseball,
come
gotta
up.
love it. You gotta love it. And college baseball, it's been entertaining. You see some good stuff here recently. How about shout out the Clemson Tigers, man. They're getting some things rolling over there in college baseball. But no, enough with all that nonsense. How about we get to the kitties' titties right now? And that's the kitties' titties right now is hockey, right? Oh, we're gonna go. Okay, let's go Masters. All right, we'll go Masters. How about that?
Yeah.
So overall, Masters is always prestigious, awesome. Jim Nance, doing the commentating for the match never gets old.
That's why you buy an HDTV for the Super Bowl and the Masters.
For the Super Bowl and Masters, heck of a Masters. It shows you. One of the stats that stood out to me was like, there's only been so many people that were the number one that have won the Masters, them being in the world number one, and Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, 5 people, right? And Scotty Scheffler's one of them. And we're witnessing one of the greats. We witnessed one of the greats with Tiger.
He's the second one to be a number one seed twice and win the Masters.
Yeah, we watched it. We watched a little bit with Tiger, but we could talk a little bit about Tiger. I know all you guys in here want him to come back and finish on top, but I think that ship has sailed. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we'll ever, especially how good the competition is in golf. I don't think we will ever see it again.
Now, I don't know if you got. Go ahead, Clete. Go ahead.
I'll say that I think, and you can. I think if Tiger wants to win one more major, I think Augusta may be his best bet. Because usually that course, it benefits you to play in that course a lot. Traditionally.
Yeah, but his last Masters haven't. His last Masters, dude. I would not say the Masters for him.
It was rough. Yeah. It was rough watching Tiger.
And I don't know if I got misconstrued when we talked about it. Whatever. I understand what he's gone through, where he at, his age, injuries, all that stuff, compared to what Jack said, the talent. All that core inside. It's not like he's just god to golf that he can just come back after all this and just will himself to a victory. I just wanted to see a good performance. I just wanted him to see, to him to be able to play 4 rounds of golf and not necessarily be in contention for it, but have a good showing so he can kind of ride off into the sunset playing at a good level, you know what I mean, compared to ending it with some type of major injury or, kind of just wiltering away as he retires, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I get what you're saying, but I with the number one Scotty, it's going to be hard to beat someone like Scotty.
No,
Even his first major appearance today, shot 7 under. The young 26-year-old, like that to me shows you a lot. And it's his first time. It's the second time ever playing the match like Augusta, and he does that. So I can see what Cletus's argument. It's like playing Augusta makes you better. But like even John Rahm last year, but John Rahm last year won the Masters, and this year it wasn't his best performance on these last 2 days.
He was awful. I
mean that's another thing. Like it's good to see him make the cut. Don't get me wrong. I love watching Tiger, but
he made history.
The competition level at this moment in time. I mean, you got Rory. I mean, if anyone at this point, to me, I'd like to see in at the top would be Rory. And let him ride off in the sunset. Like Tiger, what you've done.
He hasn't played well the last.
Yeah, like Tiger, what you've done, you're great in our book already. Like
for me, I just wanted to see make it through 4 rounds because I feel like the last couple of tournaments he's played in, he's always had to like scratch himself because of an injury. Play 4 rounds, but just play good golf. He doesn't have to be in the top 5, top 15. Just play good golf. He started off the tournament really well. I think he shot 1 under the first day, and then the second day I think he was at 1 over or something like that. And then obviously yesterday.
Well, I think what hurt him too, he had to finish because of the rain delay. He had to finish day 1 on day 2, and he might have had like an hour, maybe 2 hours to recover from those 5 holes, then go play 18 more.
Right. Which physically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's also
and watching him, like, did y'all see him like walk like after his tee shots? Dude, he looks rough, man.
You can tell that he's inside.
His body is beat to hell.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's what happens to you, man. Great job. Masters was a hell of a thing to see. You always love watching the Masters. And some of these, like even the Jordan Spieth didn't even finish high today, So
he missed the cut.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. Like this year, and I feel like it's the Masters too. Like there's so much other factors that go into just Augusta. You got the wind, the weather, other circumstances that can affect you. Because they didn't truly blow. Like nobody was truly like blowing away the rounds. You know what I mean? Like the first day, I think the Shambo and I think Scotty were up there, and then they kind of fell back towards the pack. And then, it wasn't like sometimes when you watch some of these other tournaments, you turn it on, the leaders at 14 under par, or whatever. Like today, it was a struggle for a lot of guys. It felt like it was a struggle just to break even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that freaking those greens, they were talking about it on the TV. The warmer the greens got, it was like putting on like cement. I mean, they're so fast.
Yeah.
And so the earlier in the morning you get, you get a little more dew. The ball rolls a little slower.
Right.
And so but that's Augusta.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Great performance overall by Scotty.
Yeah.
Scotty Tuhati.
And shout out to Scotty. I watched him the last few holes today to wrap it up. You can already tell he already had it in the bag. He was already up 4 or 5 strokes.
Man,
nobody was
dude,
really pushing them.
That 9.
The composure to finish it out and not bogey or anything like that, just to stay cool, level-headed, and also knowing in the back of his head that he's about to become a father and that his wife could be due any moment. So wishing them all the best. Hopefully they have a great birth, healthy baby, all that kind of stuff. Congratulations.
Yeah.
not only winning a green jacket, but also us becoming.
Yeah, dude, it's cool stuff. Like that what he did at 9 after he bogeyed at 7 or 8. What he did at 9 was like that's like Kobe Bryant and Jordan mentality, like miss a shot, come back and 9, kill it, like turned his whole day around for the back 9. Like that's greatness. Like one of these days down the road when we're old men still making this podcast when we're 80, some of us remember that time, Scotty. That's greatness at whole 9. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some good stuff. Like after that, he didn't look back. After the bogey where he dropped one notch and the other ones are starting to get back to him, that 9 where he hits chip, he chips around on the green and gets the birdie. Nothing. Yep. He didn't look back after that. He was parring and birdie, and everyone else was trying to catch up to him at that point, and that was different. That was the whole flow of the whole rest of the day for him. Like that's impressive stuff. And me and Hannah were sitting here watching it, and they're watching people missing and making it. She's like, I could have done that. I was like, no, you can't. I said, let's go golf so you can see that, because I know I can't do that. They make me so mad. Like a total baller move, fellas. This is a definite definition of a baller move. They hit their driver, right? Boom, hit the driver. They see it, and then they turn around, pick up their tee, and walk off. Baller move.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I hit it, and I'm like, where the heck did it go? Is it in the water? Is it in the trees?
It's always nice too when they got the little sky track on TV, so like they hit it, and you can see it. And sometimes like when you see it on TV and you start to like it has this little whatever action where it's going to draw or slice a little bit, and you're like, oh, that looks terrible. And then they have the next camera angle and it zooms out. And it's like landing on in the fairway, and it's just like,
what is this? What is this? Or if you've listened to some of the people say things after they hit it, like someone goes like, "Cowabunga!" I heard like "Cowabunga," I heard like a "chow," I heard "yeah," I said heard go Scotty. You heard everything. After that, they hit the ball. It was, if you sit there and like pay attention to that stuff, it's hilarious to see that stuff.
To me, the most impressive thing other than the tee shots too, which I'm with you, Jack, but it's when they miss, how they can just scramble and get out of that situation.
Yes. Like
it's like Tiger on like number 5, he hits into the pine straw.
Yeah.
And he just nice, easy freaking iron shot, gets out of there, no problem.
Yeah, like what are you doing, man? Me, I'm still looking. I go this direction. I don't know. Like my golf game, I hit it one way up the tee box, and it's going
either. I
left
give myself
right.
like nowadays. I give myself like a 3-minute look period, and then I drop. I mean, it's either I've hit a good shot, I'm looking for 3 minutes, or I know automatically that I'm dropping. So
yeah. If I can use the same ball the whole round, it's a good day.
It's a winner, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Dang straight Skippy. Like that's what I'm talking about. But
another one too is like when they're on the green finishing up on a putt, say they miss it a little bit or they come up, they're shot onto the green, on camera it looks super close. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, what a great shot. That's gonna set them up for birdie. And then, they get up. I'm like, oh, that's real close. And then they get up there. It's like, all right, now that's going to be like a 4, 5, 6 shot foot birdie here and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, it looked like it was like this far away off the TV. And like, even for us, like, I know for damn sure, like, I can't putt for nothing. So, like, when they're like, oh, that's a 4-foot putt, in my mind, I'm thinking, yep, I'm double putting this.
Yep.
That's me.
Yep. Oh, I know. It's a baller move watching them play compared to what we see. It's a baller move watching them.
It's great though to watch the Masters through and through. Like this morning I was just watching Tiger, but even the young guy that was playing with Tiger, we kind of made jokes about it.
The amateur.
An amateur, first time at Augusta, and then you were Tiger, who is his 24th time or whatever to play Augusta, and you just know that young man is just happy to be there, happy as a clam, talking nonstop. he was probably the happiest dude in that field house over
Why
Scotty
not,
when
man?
he saw that he was being paired with Tiger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just good stuff. I like it. It's just golf. To watch golf is always nice and relaxing. And you watch them sometimes hit, and you're just like,
Yeah, dude, it makes me so mad, but it's so cool to see, but it makes me so mad. Like
And then
watching
going
those
back
guys.
to your point, Jack, about Scotty with his mentality, like obviously that can be applied in a lot of things, especially sports, like the mentality you have that when you face a setback or when you face
Yes.
adversity. And we all know, the three of us know for sure that golf can be a really big mental game.
Yep.
You make one bad swing, and next thing you know, the next time you're up, you're thinking about, everything in the book for your swing, and then it can compound it and
No.
make it worse.
You just STS.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Then it goes
like,
this way.
I feel like
Dude.
when dudes are playing, good tournaments, they know that they're not going to be perfect throughout. If they are, kudos, they're on one that day, whatever. But they know, like Scotty probably knew, like, all right, there's going to be a point in this round that I'm going to not hit well off the tee box, or I'm not going to use my irons well, or I'm going to double putt, whatever. And it's going to lead to a bogey or a double. It's going to how you respond to that. So, but I agree. Obviously, ending up on 8, then starting off 9 on that back 9. When that happens, it's like it just re-sparks the confidence. Like, all right, got over that low speed bump, on to the next. Let's go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed strong, and everybody else kind of just filtered away.
It's a game. It's a game of misses.
Yep. Definitely. It was heck to watch though. It makes me it's baller status watching those guys. But
absolutely,
it's cool to watch and see, and it's always entertaining. This is the most golf I watch is Masters.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll watch some of the other, like I remember watching the players and stuff like that. But ideally, I like watching it on the weekends, like the Thursday and Friday. When it first begins, like you can get excited because sometimes you'll see, like for example, you might see Roy like in the Thursday, he's the leader and he's at 500. All right, let's go, and then you flip it on Saturday and he's 1 over. You know what I mean? Like it's sometimes one of those things. Like it's not how you start; it's how you finish. So.
Yep, for sure.
But anyways, last little topic here, right? Jack's super excited, right? He's drawing me into this sport here. Still have no idea what the hell's going on, but I'm going to represent. I'm going to be excited. But we're closing it down. There's one more game to go, and we got the NHL playoffs. So Jack,
let's go, baby. Let's go.
Fuck, baby.
I don't know. Okay, first off, let's put some. You guys watched the Avalanche Stars game the other night. Cletus, I hope you watched it. That's playoff hockey. Like that, every game is exactly how the Stars and the Avalanche played. Just back and forth, hitting, getting the puck, crisp passes, shots on goal, great goaltending. That's playoff hockey. Like there was a game Saturday that was exactly the same way. It was the Rangers and Islanders. That was a playoff hockey game too, because they're trying to get the Islanders are trying to fight their way into the hunt. They had to beat the Rangers, and the Rangers are in the hunt. Another big thing that's coming up is the President's Trophy in hockey, which I'm speaking a bunch of jibber jabber to you guys at the moment. But the President's Cup is the team with the most points at the end of the year, which at the moment is the Rangers. Second, I don't know if you knew this or not, is the Dallas Stars, baby.
By 2 points, right? Like
111. 112. It's 112 to 111. But the last games of the year, Thursday, the playoffs are going to start the 21st. But right now, the playoff bracket at the moment, and it could change for the East, is Tampa, Boston, Toronto, Florida, Washington Capitals versus New York Rangers, the Islanders, and Carolina. Which last year, if you didn't know that, the Florida Panthers were representing the East. The West at the moment, this one's going to be fun. The rematch of last year's Dallas getting their butt kicked was by Vegas and Dallas is going to be round 1. Colorado, Winnipeg, which that one, if you didn't see that, Winnipeg manhandled Colorado 7-0. which
Also,
that's a first-round playoff. Nashville, Vancouver, and Los Angeles and Edmonton, which Edmonton right now has one of the greatest hockey players we have seen in the last 15 years. And he's a rookie. Yes. And shout out Sidney Crosby in Pittsburgh. He's up there still too. But Nathan McKinnon in Colorado. But one of the greatest ones we're going to witness for the next generation is what Edmonton has. But watch playoff hockey. It gets you hyped, man. It gets me real crunk and excited. Playoff game one. Game one, here we come, baby.
Let's go. Revenge tour starts round one. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Rematch.
Let's go. Yeah, so obviously I'm not a big hockey guy. I've been getting into it more because my boy Jack and stuff. And I actually been watching it on TV when the Stars play.
Entertaining, dude.
Entertaining. Still have no idea what's going on. It reminds me of watching soccer. Just the rules are different. Obviously, but entertaining to watch, all that kind of stuff, back and forth.
Structure is way different. Soccer kind of like the rules and the play is kind of the same as soccer. Like it's setting things up, getting open spaces and
similar. It's almost like more of an indoor soccer vibe, obviously, because of the size and stuff. But
sorry,
obviously,
Mr. Soccer expert.
I'm just trying to give you another image of it or whatever. Definitely different. That's especially like the rotation. That's a big. Obviously, soccer you don't have a full squad rotation. 10 minutes of the game.
That's a cool thing too.
Yeah.
The line that lines up, the defense lines up, the wing lines up. How they play and structure things and how they figure out. If anything, I said if I would quit coaching football and coach hockey, for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that is like really stood out to me the most is like, so hockey players use different lineups. They don't use the same. It's not like basketball. It kind of has like the same kind of rotation for basketball. Like you're going to sub this guy in for defense and sub this guy in for offense and stuff like that. But like this crunch times in this part of time of hockey, you got to find lineups that are going to find this guy's really good at deking and making moves and getting to open ice, or this guy's good at being an enforcer and getting to certain spots. So coaches now in hockey have to figure out what pieces are going to get them points or get them in open spaces for them to be successful. And they can't just use their top line because each line gets a certain amount of time on the ice. And that's when other teams can implement their best line with your worst line and get lineups. I don't know if you guys have noticed that one of the things that's like real huge is like when your best line's out there, their best defensive line's out there. And when your best defense line's out there, they put their scrubs in so that where your defensive out, then they can make rotations. There's a rotation. It's like chess and checkers. It's like football. Like on third and long, you're going to bring your best pass rusher in and stuff like that. But it's lines. It's not just one person that comes in. You got to clean. You got to make that lineup before the game and see who's fitting well. Like right now, they're saying Dallas's fourth line has carried them this last stretch of the year, when the first line in the beginning of the year is carrying them. The second line was carrying them to this part of the year. The third was like hit and miss throughout the year. And this fourth line, the Young Bucks, they got a veteran, and then the Wyatt Johnson guys are carrying them in the fourth line that have got them over the hump to get them into the playoff push that they're in at the moment. So they got to figure out what they're going to do in the first round, which line's going to do it.
I feel like that could be a good thing for them now.
Exactly. If like them young cats, that they got one of the youngest squads in hockey, and they've been drafting well and making it worthwhile, for sure. Like Robertson, you watched him, Wyatt Johnson, young guy too, Miro Heiskanen, young guy, all these guys, but the oldest guys are like Sagan, Pavelski, Hakanpää, Jamie Benn, like all those guys are top lines, but they've been putting those guys and putting them with the young cats and getting them over the top. But early predictions, they have like people winning over things. So hockey overall is a game inside the game, and it's cool to watch. I'm boring, Clete, but I don't give a crap. But hockey, Cletus, if you don't watch it, I'd watch it this time of year, sure, because you're going to watch some good hockey. So like Edmonton and Winnipeg played last night, and we needed Edmonton to win so Dallas could get the number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. But like Golden Knights just beat Vegas today, or Vegas just beat Colorado today. But overall, hockey is good time. Another thing, Josh, we can get Josh talking for the next 45 minutes, Cletus, if you want. But Josh, who's Chicago draft round 1 or first pick? Who do they get?
Oh man, I can't. This is coming up soon. It's gonna be a sin, but I've been so busy catching up on my new team and all this stuff that I've almost forgot we're in April. The draft is coming up. But
who's your new team? Oh,
the
who's
Start.
Your new oh, you've been keeping up with the Start? I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud.
Come on, baby. Come, look. Yeah, listen. Yeah, listen.
Proud of him. So who's
But,
all right?
Anyways,
All right.
I think everybody. I would be completely surprised if the Chicago Bears do not draft Caleb Williams to be their next franchise quarterback.
I can agree with that.
And after that, I'd have to go through and look at the mock drafts, but I think it's going to be quarterback heavy this year. Obviously, you got Jalen Daniels is up there. The dude from North Carolina, almost said Mitch Trubisky, but it's not him. It's the other one.
May.
Yeah, Derek May is up there.
Look at Jack over here getting the names down.
I know.
I'm not a big draft guy. I just keep up with it for your state. But
Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May. And of course the guy from Michigan and all that stuff. So it's gonna be interesting, whatnot, to see how everything kind of works out. I'm excited. The Rams actually have a 1st-round pick this year.
Yeah.
Away yet, so that's good. Interested to see what the Titans do, right? Or Cletus might still be a free agent. I don't know. He hasn't claimed it.
Still free agent.
He hasn't made his decision.
Let all the other 31 NFL teams out there. If you need another fan, that's going to be loyal.
We know a guy.
Dedicated.
We know a guy.
No.
We know a guy.
We know a guy right here.
His name is Clete Knippa.
But yeah, I'm excited.
He lives in Lubbock at the moment.
Yep.
He's a great coach. He's the man's man, the grizzly bear.
Yeah, he's an Eagle. I don't know if you want to be another Eagle, but
no. If you become an Eagles fan, I will throw punch you myself. I will throw punch you myself.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
Well, it's like someone said to me, so we'll talk a little football. We won't talk draft. So they're talking about, you would get proud of me because I was already talking NFL, but it wasn't draft. So they're talking about Josh Allen in Buffalo, right? Tell him to get his pay, getting his paycheck or whatever. And I said, all right, get your paycheck. Get your paycheck. See how well it works for you. You'll just be another top-paid quarterback with nothing to prove for it down in the record books. Yep. You keep doing what you do, man, but we have people down on the other side of the world that are going to cut their paycheck and get other people on their team so they can win Super Bowls. Like shout out Baltimore. Like Lamar Jackson's getting his money, but he's also getting people in his system for them to be successful. Shout out Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes still highest paid, but he's cutting some things out so he can get more people, more weapons, more toys to go back for a three-peat. Yeah. So Josh Allen, get your pay, man. You're gonna be just in the same book as Daniel Jones. Just keep going. That's fine. If that's what you want. Like this is where you decide if you get that money. Because you lost, Stephon Diggs. You have some people in you have your tight end that's pretty good. You have that other little receiver that has came around out of nowhere. If you go and win with those guys, you come back and win with those guys, get your pay. Take it. Go get it. But you got to get through. You got to get through Baltimore. You got to get through Kansas City. You're going to have to get through Cincinnati. Like Cincinnati's going to get back because Joe Burrow's hanging around. So get your money, man.
How important is winning to you?
That's a lot of it.
It's how important is winning a Super Bowl.
Yes. You. Agreed. I'm with you, and that's what I told him. I was like, get your money, Josh. That's fine. He said, Josh about to get paid and this and that, and I said, he's telling him to get his money. I said, okay, go get your money, but if you don't, you're gonna be like Daniel Jones. He got paid and hasn't done nothing with it. So
it's just it goes.
So right on.
It's just stuff that goes back into it. That's why, I'm not gonna say it's the reason that players like Tom Brady and them were successful for a long time, but it's one of those things that you look at it in hindsight, and again, I look at Brady because it's just so apparent to what he did. But like, he easily could have went out there and been like, "Hey, pay me top dollar, make me the highest paid player in this league. I've won you 2-3 Super Bowls. I am that dude. Pay me right now."
Yeah,
But
and he could.
he never really did. You know what I mean? Like, of course, he got paid, but it
Yeah,
wasn't never. He was never like the guy, the leading guy in the NFL. Like, it was always a comparable salary. It's not like he was being cheap on the cheap or whatever. You know, he was still paid easily top 10 money, I guess, maybe whatever. But when it came to the team, he was just like, "Hey, you know, I'll take my 20-25 million, but
yep,
this other 20-25 million you give me, I want you to use it around me so we can keep
yep,
this thing going." You know what
yep.
I mean? So that's why they won 6 Super Bowls. Part of it. You know what I mean? Because they had the infrastructure on the business side to be able to go out and use that money on other cats, right? And so, like, some of these other teams, you can see it. It's going to be a problem down the road in a way because of how much players, how much money they're investing in 1 to 2 players. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Agreed.
it's
I'm
going to be
with you.
interesting to see how the Chiefs, what they look like, because Mahomes he's great. You know what I mean? He's a great
Yeah.
player. They've had success. It's not like they're still searching for their first one, but there's going to be a time where that contract is going to come calling to where it's going to be such a big salary hit that he's going to eat up a lot of where they can
Agreed.
operate.
Or he's just you get it up front in the back in the front end, and the back end you slow it down. You never know. But
Yeah,
that's
it just goes
just
to the logistics of how the finances work in the NFL. Most of them, I feel like they either try to give them a big dump here and then make it littler on the back end, like what you said, or they said, "Hey, let's go back through, let's restructure your contract, take a little bit here, and we'll push it all back towards the end of your contract," or something
yep.
like. They're always
Yep.
finagling that in a way for the right now. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
how it goes out.
Agreed. How like Clete said, how valuable is winning to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, so we talked about almost every sport today, right? So
Always
we're at the tail end of NBA. I think we made an NBA prediction at the beginning of the year. Now, Cletus, who's in the NBA Finals? Just pick. Don't matter.
I don't know.
You want here? Well, okay. Let me give you a playoff.
Let me give you my check. It's gonna be the Celtics and Nuggets.
Celtics and Nuggets in the NBA playoff and NBA Finals.
Yeah, I don't know. Thunder. Hell, let's go Celtics Thunder.
Celtics Thunder.
Yeah, that seems. I don't know. I don't
That's
know nothing about.
I mean that.
I don't know anything about the NBA, or I've watched 0 NBA minutes, and so
I'm not arguing. That's your top. There's your top 2 teams in the league right now. So I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay.
That's not a bad decision. Shoot, I'm going to go against the grain here. Dallas Mavericks, Bucks.
Okay,
there you go.
respect
Very
that.
nice.
Respect that.
Dallas
I would pay
Mavericks.
money to go to ACC,
ACC and watch the Mavs.
Mavs in the finals. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, and the foil hat can come on, Cletus.
Imagine if it was the Mavericks.
The Rangers just won the World Series. Imagine the Mavericks and the Stars hosting playoff games and the Stanley Cup Final and the NBA Finals in the same calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to look forward to is the Dallas Cowboys, right? But come on, join the ship, Clete. You want to wear a star on your helmet because you already got.
Hey, real quick, Jack. Imagine if it was the Mavs and the Heat in the final.
It'd be the third time they'd meet.
I would pay to go to every game. I don't care. I'm taking off school. We're going every game.
Jimmy Buckets, baby.
Let's go. We're going every game. Set the mic.
Except we might go to
Good.
Miami. Screw it.
Take
You play for you take one plane ticket, I'll buy the other plane ticket. You know, how about that? We'll do it.
We'll take it
Mavs and Bucks.
305.
I'm really think it's going to be like the Mavs or Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. Mavs and Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. Boston and the Bucks.
I think obviously Boston probably has an easier route to an NBA Finals.
Yeah.
You know, based on how the East has been the last few years or last decade. So the West, it's going to just come down to matchups you get, who beats each other. You know what I mean, and trying to. I think for the most part, the West. It's two things that come out of the West. It's either it's going to beat you up so much that by the time you get to the finals, you're kind of limping into it, or since the competition's so good throughout that when you get to the finals, that the East can't stand the chance,
Bruh.
unless they got a stud.
The East is the least. It's those eras again, my man. It's that era again.
Yeah,
like whoever came from the East was going to get dominated by the West. It's close to that era again. Like think about this.
We saw it last year. You know,
like
you saw
the
it
Knicks,
last year when
like the Knicks are 50-32, right?
Yeah.
The Thunder are 57-25. The Denver Nuggets are 57-25. The Timberwolves are 56-26. The Clippers are 50-31, and then the rest are the East. Which I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I mean, we're back to the era again. You like you mentioned, the West are going to beat each other up. Like imagine being the play-in tournament right now, right? So the play-in tournament, the Pelicans, Lakers, Kings, and Warriors, right? Those four have to play, and they get to go meet the Thunder or the Nuggets when you win. You play two games to get in.
It's similar to that feeling of being one of those play-in teams for a 16 seed. Like, we made the tournament. You got to play in to get it, though. It's like, all right, sweet. Who do we get? Oh, you get UConn or something like that. You get Purdue. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, we got a chance. Yeah, let's go. But like the four, like the what is it? The four and what is it? The 8-8 play in the March Madness to get in as well, and those always can seem to be fishy as well too. But this that's like funny. Like Pelicans, Lakers, Kings, Warriors, all going to beat each other up to get into the 7th seed or the 8th seed. Then they get to go to meet the Thunder or the Nuggets, which are sitting there pretty like, okay, let's just do us and meet one of those people. But you know, you can't count out the veterans of the Golden State Warriors or the veterans of the Lakers. Like the Kings were last year, and they made a pretty decent. They gave, I guess what they gave the Nuggets. The Nuggets took away from it, but not a bad pick. All right, there's our NBA predictions, NHL predictions. Cletus, what we got? Here, I'll give you some West. I'll give you some East leaders right now. We have the Boston Bruins, the Florida Panthers. Here, I'll tell you the bracket. We have Tampa versus Boston, Toronto, Florida, Washington, New York Rangers, New York Islanders, and Carolina. Who you got coming out the East for in NHL?
Let me see here. I think it's going to be the Lightning.
All right.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, just they've won it before. I don't know if it's the same crew, but I mean,
it doesn't matter. You got Lightning. All right. West. We got Vegas, Dallas,
Stars.
Colorado. Damn straight, my dude. All right, Josh. We got West. Who you got in the West?
I don't know how it is in hockey when it comes to like number one overall seeds and how well they do in terms of making it to the Stanley Cup. Or is it one of those things?
The President's Cup has been the biggest knock. The winner of the President's Cup has not made. Whoever wins the President's Cup has never made it out of the round one.
Okay, so we're hoping the Stars don't win that. Okay.
No, I hope they get the number one seed, but I hope they don't get the President's Cup.
And that's basically total points at the end of the year, right?
Yes.
So that's probably going to be the Rangers, if I had to take a guess. I'm pretty sure both them and the Stars are going to win out their last game of the season. The Rangers will beat them to the I don't know. Maybe this is the year they break that little hoodoo. So I'm gonna go New York Rangers against the Stars. Top teams from each conference.
Rangers and Stars, top conference.
Yep.
Not bad. Not bad. I'm gonna take out the top seed from the East and make it the second top seed. They're in the same division. I'm saying Carolina Hurricanes, and the Dallas Stars.
The Stars in the heart.
Both Dallas
All
teams,
right.
baby, in the hunt, baby. That's what I'm
Let's
talking
go.
about. That's crazy to think about. Both Dallas teams are about to be in a playoff run. You know, that's a good time. Last year it was just the Stars that we had looked forward to. Now we get to watch one night. You get to watch the Mavericks. One night you get to watch the Stars, and you get to watch a little bit of Rangers baseball in between the
Let's
mix.
go. Maybe they'll pick that up too. But we'll see.
Yeah,
It's gonna be some fun times.
their
Just
bats need to
shout
get
out-
going in Texas. Their
You know,
bats haven't got going. They did wake up Simeon though. Thanks, Houston.
Let's go.
Or Seager. They woke up Seager today. Thank you, Houston.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to all the Dallas fans out there. Got a lot of optimism heading into NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB. Obviously, riding still off the highs of winning the World Series. You know, if they could just figure it out over there at Jerry's World, then all of y'all would be happy as peaches, happy as clams, right? But anyway, wishing all y'all the best. Go Stars, right? That's my new team. So we're gonna ride and die with the Stars, baby. So, but as always, gentlemen, it is always a pleasure of mine to be on the show with you guys, to come up here and just chit chat.
Be the light, my man. Be the light,
right?
my man.
Talk about life. Be the light every single day out there in this world, no matter how big or how small it is, and whatnot. Obviously, we try to go out there and provide examples. One last thing here for our listeners that don't know, maybe you do know, whatever, but we're going to discuss it here on the show. Big time shout out to our boy right here. Okay. A lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes, right? He's the type of person that doesn't look for accolades. He doesn't look for acknowledgement for what he does. He just shows up every day, um, puts in he puts in his time, he puts in the work when everybody either is not there or when they go home. And this month he's finally got rewarded for being Teacher of the Month. So congratulations, Jack, over there at T-Town. Much deserved. So congratulations, Papa. We're proud of you, and all that. So we know what you do, right?
Appreciate
so
it. Nothing without my people, though.
Just like Clete, we know what Clete does behind the scenes. Same thing with my boy Cobbs and Benny, all that good stuff. So,
yeah,
congratulations, proud of you.
Yeah, appreciate that, my man. I'm nothing without my people. You guys know that, so it's appreciate.
So that's what we do. We be the light. We live our mantra. Jack's the leader of that mantra in terms of what he does every single day. And honestly, like, we all go out and we live that mantra in different avenues of it. You know, we're not all carbon copies of each other when we talk about being a light in this world. You know, obviously we have our main definition of it and what we basically means, but we all kind of go about it in different ways that are built from who we are as people. You know what I mean? You know, Jack does his thing his way. Cletus does his thing his way. I do mine. Same with Cobb. Same with Benny. Same with Adam in his world. So, but at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is we're just trying to be the greatest people we can possibly be in a positive way, and to shine that onto others and allow them to then reciprocate that to others. Next thing you know, the whole world is just a nice big shiny light bulb of positivity and greatness, right? So,
yep.
Always remember to go out there, people, and be the light. It's the simplest thing. It's just to be a nice person, do the right thing by people, all that good stuff. So, anything in closing remarks, Cletus?
No. Y'all be good. Appreciate you guys.
Always keeps it short and sweet. My boy Jack.
Y'all are great. Be good.
Keeping it short and sweet. Remember,
Love
this
and
is the D.B.A.B. Podcast. This podcast can be found anywhere podcasts are available: Apple, Spotify, any of the above. Also on the X and also on YouTube. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is the DBAB Podcast.